Hello everyone. Welcome to Gostudy's exclusive Masterclass on IELTS academic exam. This lesson has been curated by our team of expert and certified trainers to help you boost your band score. Now, before we begin, let me tell you briefly about today's agenda. In this session, you are going to dive deeper into the detailed format of the IELTS academic test, all the question types, effective strategies, do's and don'ts, and much more. But first, let me introduce Gostudy, India's top-rated education consultancy, proudly recognized twice with the prestigious Times Education Icon Award and certified as a great place to work. With a robust team of 250 plus experts, we have helped countless students to achieve their dream of studying abroad. Our IELTS coaching is renowned for its high success rate. Thanks to our amazing trainers, their expertise combined with our innovative teaching methods ensures that you are prepared and fully equipped to excel. Here's why Gostudy's IELTS coaching stands out. Engaging and interactive live classes, carefully curated authentic study materials, a comprehensive series of mock tests, personalized classes tailored to your specific needs, and flexible learning plans. So, what makes this masterclass unique? Once you have done watching the whole video and you use what you learn here to practice for the test, you will definitely be able to bump up your score by at least 1 or 2 bands. Hi, I'm Amrita Dash from Gostudy and I'm thrilled to be your guide in this journey to maximize your IELTS potential. So, whether you are a beginner or a seasoned test taker aspiring for a higher band score, by the end of this lesson, I promise that you will definitely feel more confident to approach the test. So, fasten your seatbelts, grab a snack, and enjoy the ride. Let me begin this journey by telling you what IELTS is. IELTS, the International English Language Testing System, is an English language proficiency test. It basically tests your ability to communicate in English in everyday life when you move to an English-speaking country. This test is globally recognized and the test score is accepted in all the English-speaking countries. Over 11,000 institutes, countries like the UK, USA, Canada, Australia, Ireland, and New Zealand. There are different types of IELTS, but if you want to study abroad, you have to take the IELTS academic exam, which is what we are going to discuss in this video. The total duration of IELTS is 2 hours 45 minutes and the test has 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. In the listening section, you will listen to a number of audio recordings and you have to answer some questions with information from those audios. In the reading section, you will get lengthy reading passages and you have to answer different types of questions with information that you find in those reading texts. In the writing section, you have to write 1 report and 1 essay on the given topics. And finally, in the speaking section, you have to answer a bunch of questions on some easy everyday topics in your own way, expressing your ideas and opinion freely. Listening, reading and writing exams take place on the same day continuously without any breaks between them. But your speaking exam can take place either on the same day or up to a week before or after your main exam. Your speaking slot depends entirely on your respective exam center and the mode of the examination. You can take IELTS Academic via 2 modes, the paper-based test and the computer-delivered test. I often get asked which mode to choose. Well, it's really your call to decide. You must choose the mode in which you feel the most comfortable and confident in. I often suggest my students, once you start practicing mock tests, take 1 mock test on paper, another on computer, and then check for yourself which one is more convenient for you. Let me take you through their differences first and then you can decide for yourself. In paper-based test, you will read and write on paper, whereas in computer-based test, you will read questions and type answers on the computer screen. In PBT, you will get your test report on the 13th day, while for CBT, you will get your report within 3 to 5 days. But remember, whichever mode of test you choose, you have to take listening, reading and writing in that mode only. You cannot take one module on paper, another on computer. It doesn't work that way. There is no difference in test format for paper-based and computer-based IELTS. The only difference lies in the listening module, which I will discuss in depth when I teach you the format of the listening test. In terms of evaluation, there is no pass or fail in IELTS. Sounds amazing, right? Your performance will be marked in band scores. The maximum band is 9 and the minimum band is 1. Only when a person doesn't appear for the test, they get a 0. Now we will explore all the modules one by one. So let's proceed. IELTS listening test is usually the first section in the IELTS exam, and it is designed to assess your ability to understand spoken conversations in English in an academic as well as everyday general scenario. In this section, you will listen to some audio recordings and some questions will be asked about the information extant in those audios. So basically in this test, you will listen to the audio recordings and at the same time, you will answer the questions with information from the audios. You know what? This section is actually very scoring if you can be focused while listening and be careful with your spellings while writing your answers. Now let's have a closer look at the format of the IELTS listening test. The listening test lasts for approximately 30 minutes. In the listening test, a total of 4 audios will be played. Before every audio, you will be given some time to look at the questions and you will note down the answers while the audios are playing. Computer-based test takers will type the answers then and there while listening to the audios. But paper-based test takers will get 10 extra minutes to shift their answers from the question paper to the main answer sheet. A word of caution, every audio is played only once. It's not a Netflix series, so there is no restart or replay or pause button. You will be asked 40 questions in total and 10 questions from each section. And there is no negative marking. This gives you a huge advantage, so you must attempt all the questions. Moreover, it's a sequential test, which means that the answers you will find in the audios following the sequence of the questions. In simpler terms, the answer to question number 4 will always come after you hear the answer to question number 3. Now that we know the format, let's jump on to discuss what is easy and what is not so easy in this test. When I said that you will be listening to audio recordings in English, did you by any chance subconsciously play a Hollywood accent in the back of your head and ask yourself, should I start watching Hollywood movies without subtitles now to sail through this test?
So alive yesterday. What he was doing, no insurance, no children, and a wife.
For £20,000 for every dog that's stopped.
Well, you are right, but not completely. You don't need to learn all the English accents in the world to get through this test. Just acquainting yourself with the most widely used English accents would be enough. These recordings include a variety of English accents like the British, American, Australian and general international English accent. It's important to familiarize yourself with these accents during your preparation stage to increase your understanding of this. But don't worry about it too much because these accents, especially in the test, are pretty understandable. You must be thinking, through these audios, questions and answers, what skills are they exactly trying to test here? Well, let me clarify. The IELTS Academic Listening section assesses your ability to understand the main idea and the specific details mentioned in the recording. Also, your ability to follow the discussion and its progress in the audio. And finally, your ability to understand the speaker's attitude and opinion. Okay, now let me give you an idea of what the audios are going to be about. Audio 1 is set in everyday general social context and it is between two speakers. For example, the discussion between a hotel receptionist and a person who has called up that hotel to book a room. You will always be able to differentiate the two speakers from the voices in the audio. For example, listen to the two speakers having conversation in this audio.
Good morning, Clare House Hotel. Andrew speaking. I'm the events manager.
Good morning, Andrew. My name's Samantha. I'm arranging a party for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, and I'm ringing to ask about hiring a room sometime next September. Also, my parents and several of the guests will need accommodation.
Okay, I'm sure we can help you with that. Will you be having a sit-down meal or a buffet?
Probably a sit-down.
Next, audio 2 is generally a monologue, which means only one speaker is speaking. It is usually an interview response or somebody giving some guidance or instruction of some kind. For example, airport announcements, announcing the delay in flights, or somebody guiding through maps. To get a better idea, listen to this audio.
Hello, I'm delighted to welcome you to our Wildlife Club and very pleased that you're interested in the countryside and the plants and creatures of this area. I think you'll be surprised at the variety we have here, even though we're not far from London. I'll start by telling you about some of the parks and open spaces nearby. One very pleasant place is Halland Common. This has been public land for hundreds of years, and what you'll find interesting is that the River Ouse, which flows into the sea 80 kilometres away, has its source in the common. There's an information board about the plants and animals you can see here, and by the way, the common is accessible 24 hours a day.
After that comes audio 3 and 4, which are set strictly in academic or training context. Audio 3 is a candid discussion between 2 to 4 speakers. Although it is a candid discussion, don't worry because you will still be able to distinguish the speakers as the voices are quite different from one another. For example, one voice may be high-pitched and another may be deep. One voice may be male and others can be female. To get a clearer picture, listen to this audio.
Before we start, Spiros and Hiroko, thanks for coming in today to talk about your recent study experiences. And congratulations to you both in doing so well in your first semester exams.
Thank you.
I'd like to discuss with you the value of the English for Academic Purposes course you did here last year before starting your university course. Spiros, if I could start with you, what parts of the program have now proved to be particularly valuable to you?
I think that having to do a seminar presentation really helped me. For example, a couple of weeks ago in our marketing subject, when it was my turn to give a presentation, I felt quite confident. Of course, I was still nervous, but because I had done one before, I knew what to expect. Also, I know I was well prepared, and I had practiced my timing. In fact, I think that in relation to some of the other people in my group, I did quite a good job, because my overall style was quite professional. What about you, Hiroko?
That's interesting. In my group, I was really surprised by the way the students did their presentations. They just read their notes aloud. Can you believe that? They didn't worry about their presentation style or keeping eye contact with their audience. And I remembered that these things were really stressed to us in the course here.
And finally, audio 4 is again a monologue. It is usually a university lecture or monologues like one scientist talking about his recent discovery or a historian talking about a period in history. Something like this.
Scientists believe that a majority of the Earth's bird population migrate in some fashion or other. Some travel seasonally for relatively short distances, such as birds that move from their winter habitats in lowlands to mountaintops for the summers. Others, like the Arctic tern, travel more than 25,000 miles seasonally between the northern and southern poles. Bird migration has been studied over many centuries through a variety of observations, but until relatively recently, where birds went to in the winter was considered something of a mystery.
I hope your idea of the IELTS academic listening audio is clear. Now comes the most vital part, the types of questions that you may expect in this section. First comes the completion type questions. In simpler terms, these are fill in the blanks type questions. You will need to complete sentences, forms, notes, summaries and tables based on the information provided in the audio recordings. Your answer can be either a word or number or a phrase. The next type of question is MCQ. You will have to choose either one or two correct options. Then there comes a question type called labeling a map or a diagram. In this type of question, you will get to see a map or a diagram on the question paper. Now on the map or diagram that you get, some points will already be labeled and some will be blank. So you have to follow the direction provided by the speaker in the audio and label the points that are blank. And then comes the final question type that is called matching type questions. In this question type, you will get two sets of options. one set will be labeled and the other set will be numbered. Based on the information that you get in the audio, you have to match the labeled set with the numbered one. I hope you have understood what we have discussed so far. And now we have reached the part you were most eager for. Some useful tips to avoid the most common mistakes in this listening test and boost your score. Tip number 1. Follow the instructions given in the question paper and write answers according to the given word limit. Every set of question will come with a clear set of instruction, like answer in one word only or answer in no more than 2 words. Answer in no more than 2 words mean that your answer can either be 1 word or 2 words but not more than that. One more thing, hyphenated words in the IELTS exam are considered to be 1 word only. If your answer exceeds the word limit that has been given, then you will not get any score for that answer. Tip number 2. For those taking paper-based test, handwriting needs to be understandable. I am sure many of you are not feeling confident about your handwriting. Well, I've got an easy solution for you. Those taking paper-based test must write their answers in the listening exam in all capital or block letters. So writing answers in block letters is allowed, and writing in this way will keep all the letters separate and therefore make your answers look more understandable even if your handwriting is a little messy. Next tip, very important. You get some time to look at the questions before every audio begins, and you must and you should skim through all the questions before the listening audio begins. Looking at the questions before the audio begins will help you to understand exactly what kind of information you are listening for. For example, is it a numerical figure like some timing or a price, or is it the name of a place or an event? So in a way, looking at the questions before the audio begins will psychologically prepare you for the upcoming audios. Tip number 4. After the audio clip is played, you will get some time to check your answers and utilize this time to check especially if you have written the correct spelling. Number 5. Do not forget the plurals. If your answer is a common noun, make sure to find out if it is a singular or a plural noun. Tip number 6. Make sure to read the row headers and the column headers in the table questions properly. As I mentioned before, that the audios in the IELTS Academic Listening Test are going to be in native English accents. I know many of you struggle a lot to understand the meaning because you are not familiar with these accents. And the most effective way to overcome this problem is to consistently listen to short audios of native English speakers. Listen to podcasts like BBC 6 Minutes English. Another effective solution for you is to mix entertainment with learning. How to do so? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Listen to English songs you like and then, without looking at the lyrics, write down what you hear. Then check for yourself how much of your writing actually matches the original lyrics. Practicing this way will not only enhance your understanding of the listening audios, but also at the same time improve your mindfulness. And finally, tip number 8. We are going to talk about the distractors. One major issue faced by the test takers in the IELTS Academic Listening Test are the distractors. Well, I think it's pretty evident from the term itself that these are factors that distract you. Well, let me clarify how. Suppose there's a question in the listening test like, at what time does the first metro leave Central Metro Station on Sunday? Now from the question you can understand that you have to find out about a specific timing. Now, when the audio starts playing, you hear the speaker say that at 6 a.m. the first metro leaves Central Metro Station on weekdays, and on the weekends it leaves at 7 a.m. Since you heard 6 a.m. first, if you note that down as your answer without listening carefully to the rest of the thing the speaker said, then your answer will be incorrect.
Why?
Because the correct answer is 7 a.m. Now this 6 a.m. was a distractor or a distracting word. It sounded like your answer, but it is not the actual answer. One way to avoid such distractors and get the correct answer is mindful listening. Always listen till the end of the sentence that the speaker is saying, because what the speaker says in the beginning of the sentence may change completely by the time he reaches the end. Okay, I hope now the question types and all the do's and don'ts are clear. Now let's understand each of these questions with solved examples. We are beginning with completion type questions, or in other words, fill in the blanks type questions. Now, an audio recording is going to play. I am giving you some time before the audio starts to play. A set of questions will appear on the screen. Look at the questions on the screen, read the instructions carefully and skim through all the questions. Try to read the word that is written before and after each blank, and also try to make note of the keywords in the questions. Try to understand what type of information you have to find, whether it is a name, number, etc. These keywords will help you to pick up the correct information easily when the audio starts to play. Alright, now listen to the audio mindfully and note down your answers correctly.
Hello, William. This is Amber. You said to phone if I wanted to get more information about the job agency you mentioned. Is now a good time?
Hi, Amber. Yes, fine. So the agency I was talking about is called Bankside. They're based in Docklands. I can tell you the address now, 497 East Side.
OK, thanks. So is there anyone in particular I should speak to there?
The agent I always deal with is called Becky Jameson.
Let me write that down. Becky
Jameson. Jameson.
Do you have her direct line?
Yes, it's in my contacts somewhere. Right, here we are. 07866 510 333. I wouldn't call her until the afternoon if I were you. She's always really busy in the morning trying to fill last-minute vacancies. She's really helpful and friendly, so I'm sure it would be worth getting in touch with her for an informal chat.
Okay, now that the audio has finished, look at the answers displayed on the screen. How many answers did you get correct? I hope that all of you have got all the answers right. I'm sure now you have got a clear idea of how to solve fill in the blanks type questions. You can solve sentence, note, table and summary completion questions in the same way. Okay, so the next type of question that we are going to practice is MCQ or multiple choice questions. As I have already said that in MCQ, you have to select one or two correct options from a set of options given in the question paper. Now look carefully at the questions displayed on the screen. You are going to hear an audio about Longfield Park. You have to select only one correct option out of 3 options. So let's begin.
Longfield Park has a programme of activities throughout the year, and to give you a sample, this is what's happening in the next few days. On Monday, you can learn about herbs and how they've been used over the centuries. You'll start with a tour of our herb garden, practice the technique of using them as colour dyes for cloth, and listen to an illustrated talk about their use in cooking and medicine. Then on Wednesday, you can join local experts to discover the variety of insects and birds that appear in the evening. We keep to a small number of people in the group, so if you want to go, you'll need to phone the park ranger a few days ahead. There's a small charge which you should pay when you turn up. I'm sure you're all keen to help with the practical task of looking after the park, so on Saturday you can join a working party. You'll have a choice of all sorts of activities, from planting hedges to picking up litter, so you'll be able to change from one to another when you feel like it. The rangers will be hard at work all day, but do come and join in, even for just a short while. One thing, though, is to make sure you're wearing something that you don't mind getting dirty or torn.
Okay, now let's hop on to solve math questions. This is something you have never faced in an exam before, but I'm pretty sure all of you at some point in your life must have asked for directions when you were in a new place. Solving map or diagram type questions in IELTS listening test is similar to that experience, wherein you simply have to follow the speaker's direction and guidance given in the audio recording and name the correct locations labeled in the map. Look at the map displayed on the screen. I'm giving you some time to look at the map. The places already labeled on the map are your references for navigation and use these points as signposts. Now you can see that this is the map of a park, lake, East Gate, West Gate and refreshment area have already been labeled on the map. Some letters like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I have been pointed on the map in a scattered way. Below the map, some names have been given which you have to find. Bird area, dog walking area, flower garden and woodland area. These are the 4 places you have to find. So basically after listening to the audio, you have to find out which letter is dog walking area and which letter is the flower garden. Listen carefully and as soon as the speaker starts giving direction, identify and mark your starting point. For your help, we have given you a direction on the screen. Follow the direction and you will be able to find out the answers very easily. Now listen to the audio carefully. Point your pencils to the map on the screen and follow the direction given on the screen.
And finally, I'd like to tell you about our new wildlife area, Hinchingbrook Park, which will be opened to the public next month. This slide doesn't really indicate how big it is, but anyway, you can see the 2 gates into the park and the main paths. As you can see, there's a lake in the northwest of the park with a bird hide to the west of it at the end of a path. So it'll be a nice, quiet place for watching the birds on the lake. Fairly close to where refreshments are available, there's a dog walking area in the southern part of the park, leading off from the path. And if you just want to sit and relax, you can go to the flower garden. That's the circular area on the map, surrounded by paths. And finally, there's a wooded area in the western section of the park, between 2 paths. OK, that's enough from me.
Okay, on that note, we have reached the final type of question which we are going to discuss, and this is matching type questions. Now in this type of question, you get 2 different sets of options. One set of options is given inside the box and the options are labeled with letters such as A, B, C, D, E. And in the other set, the options are given with numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4. So your job is to basically listen to the audio and match the numbered set of options with the lettered set. But one thing you must remember, when the audio starts playing, you have to follow the order of the numbered options and not the lettered options given inside the box. For example, look at these questions displayed on the screen. You can see that 2 sets have been given. The options given inside the box talk about people belonging to different ages. And in the numbered option, you can see the names of some plays. So basically, you have to find out from the audio which play is suitable for which age group. However, you must follow the order of the plays and not the order of the age groups.
You have some time to look at questions 8 to 10.
Listen and answer questions 8 to 10.
I've seen a list of plays that are being performed this week, and I'd like to know which are suitable for my children and which ones my husband and I might go to.
How old are your children?
5 and 7. What about The Mystery of Muldoon?
That's aimed at 5 to 10-year-olds.
So if I take my children, I can expect them to enjoy it more than I do?
I think so. If you'd like something for yourself and your husband and leave your children with a babysitter, you might like to see Fire and Flood. It's about events that really happened in Stretton 200 years ago, and children might find it rather frightening.
Oh, thanks for the warning. And finally, what about Silly Sailor?
That's a comedy, and it's for young and old. In fact, it won an award in the Stretton Drama Festival a couple of months ago.
OK. Well, goodbye and thanks for all the information. I'm looking forward to the festival.
Goodbye.
I often get asked, what if your mind gets diverted, you lose track of the audio and miss some part of the audio? Well, you are a human being and these things can happen. Do not panic, keep your cool like the December morning's breeze and restore yourself and get back to answering the next questions. Even if you miss the answer to one question, remember, you still have 39 questions to correctly answer. If you manage to get all the 39 questions correct, you still get the highest band, which is band 9. Alright everyone, I hope you have got the laydown on the IELTS Academic listening section. Now, take a breather and gear up for the next module with more enthusiasm and confidence.